All right, we are live. How's it going out there? We are on YouTube, LinkedIn, and Facebook, coming to you live for another recording of the Managing Partners podcast. I'm Kevin Daisy, your host, also the founder of Array Digital. We help law firms fill their pipeline using digital marketing. Today, I'm joined by Jessenia. Thank you so much for coming on the podcast. Can't wait to hear your story. It sounds like you have some really different things to share. We were talking a little bit backstage. So I'm really interested to learn about that stuff. So welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you, Kevin, for having me.
Absolutely. Anyone tuning in live right now, please ask questions, pop in and say hi. Maybe you're someone that knows her. You just want to be a fan. That's totally cool. But ask any questions you have. Ask hard questions, easy questions. And she'll be happy to answer those, I'm sure. So my first question is the same question I ask everyone is, I really want to know what's unique about you, kind of how you got your start and ended up where you are today and running your own practice.
Okay. So I always wanted to be an attorney. So my profession choice never changed since elementary. It's always what I wanted to do. I was on debate teams. What I will say changed was my practice area choice. So I always wanted to be a prosecutor, and I had a game plan: be a police officer, become a detective, and be a prosecutor. And ironically, we'll get into what the firm does. I do criminal defense, so I go up against everything I wanted to be. So that's a little different, and it was never planned. That was not intentional. I think that area just chose me. But in law school, I will say I experienced a very close person to me go to prison, and I didn't really like how the system handled the situation or the case. So that had a huge influence and impact on why I went defense versus working for the government. So that's kind of how I ended up where I am now as far as practice areas. But law school was always in the plan. I always wanted to be an attorney. I went to Thomas Cooley. I actually graduated from law school twice.
Wow.
I went back for my LLM in intellectual property. I haven't done anything with that degree yet. So that's how I am where I am.
I mean, I love it. It's, you knew all the way what you wanted to be. That's great. And that's why, some people have different stories. They fell into it or a lot of here too, just like you said, it didn't change what you wanted to do, but which area of practice. And you had something in your life happen that you said, hey, I need to help with, these people that, this similar situation may happen to. So that's unique, and that how that kind of transitioned you from what you were doing. So interesting. So real quick about your firm. So you're criminal defense. You're in Tampa, Florida.
Yeah, I'm in Tampa Bay, but I have cases all throughout the state.
Okay. Yeah, that was going to be your next question is how far out do you go and what's your reach there? So, okay, excellent. Beautiful down in Florida. I'm up here in Virginia, so not quite as warm all year, but I'm supposed to be in Florida next week, which I think may not happen. I'm not sure. Travel plans are kind of weird right now, but so tell us a little bit more maybe about your firm. Is it you? Do you have some staff? What's that look like?
So it is just me. So to clarify, I do criminal defense and family law. So I do two practice areas. Neither one did I intend to go into originally. I always intended to work for the government, and it never happened. So I am the only attorney in the firm. I do co-counsel on some of the bigger cases, just because it is a lot to manage for one person. But I am the only attorney under the firm. And as far as staff, I do have 2 legal assistants and an operations manager who oversees things. I do intend on hopefully hiring on an associate. So if anyone listening is interested, feel free to contact me. I do need help as far as my caseload goes. So staff, it's three to 4 of us. And I have interns come and go. So interns will be assigned specific projects. I'm very much involved in the community projects and nonprofits. So I do have interns come and go and assist with those projects, and they get credit with their law schools as well.
Okay. Well, anyone listening, her website address is down below. You can check that out and learn more about her. Nice website. She's got a lot of good content on there about what she's doing and kind of the way she thinks. I think it's pretty cool with some of the messaging on there. But that's also her phone number. I put the link to the web address in the comments. So anyone tuning in, they can now or later on YouTube, LinkedIn, you can click on that link to go off to her website. Yeah, if you're interested to talk to her, please reach out. I'm sure she would love to chat. And sounds like she needs some help. So next question, I guess, is how you get clients and what's working well for you.
Okay, so I know we were talking behind the scenes, and I said this, some of my answers might be a little different than most attorneys. I can honestly say I have not, since I've been practicing, spent a lot of marketing dollars in obtaining clients or advertisement. So I will say I've been very fortunate to have a lot of referrals and a lot of word of mouth. So for me, I think results ultimately matter. So I think that if you have a very strong work ethic that ultimately leads to good client results, leads to reviews, it's on your website, it's all public, that really assists with comeback clients or other referrals. So for me, that has worked a lot to get more work, to the point that sometimes I'm closing out my calendars and saying, hey, I'm not taking any more clients. Because you have to remember, my practice areas, if you're set for trial, you want to focus on that. And I know some attorneys just continue to take on cases, in my opinion, that affects your results ultimately. So for me, what's worked to get clients is just really good results, really good reviews, word of mouth. I do get referrals from other attorneys. I also refer out to a lot of attorneys, and I don't just mean locally. So I used to attend various networking events out of state, and whenever I have clients who need an attorney in perhaps Virginia or California, we keep those connections open. So that works on both ends for referral basis. I would say another way, I've done a lot of community events and have volunteered pro bono for a lot of different organizations. I can honestly say that work comes from that also. From actually volunteering to work for free, you end up getting hired. So it's worked for me. So that's why I think it's a bit ironic, because I'm actually volunteering to work for free. And I've had a lot of clients from legal clinics and things of that nature.
No, that's awesome. That's definitely a trend, and a lot that I hear interviewing other managing partners and people run their own firms is it starts really with doing really good work and being a good person, focusing on the work, and like you said, not exerting yourself so that you can actually focus on those cases and give a good result. Some of the best firms that I've had on here, that's usually kind of how they assess their core. And so, I hear that over and over again. You just got to do good work. You have to show up. The things you're doing for free, that's going to come back to you. People are, the community's going to recognize that. So kudos for that, and how, busy you are. That's excellent. And I think, you're in a place of, you want to bring on an associate and grow. There's a point where at some point marketing does make sense, that, if you have a bunch of people there and other attorneys, then, they might not be able to have the same type of success you had starting in, if they bring another practice area into the firm. So, but kudos for what you're doing. That's awesome. And anyone listening, young attorneys, law students, you got to do good work and be ethical and have integrity and go out of your way to help people, and it will come back to you for sure. So glad to hear that.
If I could just add on before we go to the next question.
Sure. Anything you want.
That's one important thing that I will say to the younger attorneys listening and law students is you have to remain ethical and with integrity, because you do find sometimes, depending on the practice area, that is an issue. And just because somebody's been practicing 20, 30 years doesn't mean that they're always per se ethical. And you have to remember that they've been doing this 20, 25 years and you haven't. You're starting off and you want to start off the right way.
100%. Great lesson. Rewind, listen to that again. So appreciate that. And so one of the things I was going to ask too, because you have a lot of cases, you're growing, you have a lot of room to go, but what are some of the things you're using, or any tools, software to kind of manage, the case that you have?
So I'm transitioning. I've transitioned from a different case management system. I'm transitioning into another one. In transitioning, it did create a huge internal problem, which operations is onto it. But I would say a lot of case management and computer software is really being used to automate processes. So it's in the works now, but I would say that really controls time management, case management, workflow management. That's really helped me streamline things.
Excellent. Yeah, I mean, we're different. We're just a marketing agency, but there's so many things and tasks for our clients. We couldn't do a lot of this stuff without software, task management, project management tools. So I just always like to ask, kind of see what you're using. Do you know what you're switching over to? Is it a case management software or?
Originally, as far as cases, originally I was using Rocket Matter. That's kind of what's on the Florida bar when you first starting off. It's okay. On there, so that I started off there, and then I grew to not really like it or not find it useful. Maybe I just didn't know how to use it properly. But I switched over from Rocket Matter to Practice Panther now.
Okay, I've heard of that one, and Clio's a big one. I hear about that all the time. Excellent. Okay. Well, it's good. I mean, I've had others say they kind of mash some stuff together and do whatever, and got to do whatever works for you. But it seems like those things are invaluable. So that's great. So for you, you mentioned a little bit about bringing on an associate and things like that. But what's really in your mind, your vision in the next 2 to 5 years of where you really like to take the firm, and what do you see happening in that time period?
Okay. So ideally, because obviously I started off somewhere and ended up somewhere else. Ideally, what my game plan would be to add immigration as a practice area, because it overlaps a lot with criminal and family. So if I were to bring on, the associate I want to bring on by next year would essentially help me in criminal and family. But in 2 to 5 years, I want to add an additional 1 or 2 additional practice areas. Immigration, for the reasons I stated, personal injury, because it's just very beneficial and lucrative. I don't intend on actually, I intend on hiring attorneys for each practice area. And that's where marketing obviously will come into effect, because like you stated, they're different attorneys that we may need different tools or techniques for, and different practice areas. I can't advertise immigration if I don't really practice it. So I do see my firm growing in ideally 2 additional practice areas, immigration and personal injury, and then attorneys attached to each practice area, which I'm assuming they'll need their own paralegal. So I do see that kind of growth going forward.
That's exciting. That's awesome. I think, the immigration makes a lot of sense for sure to add next. And personal injury, it's, that's a lucrative side of things. And that, there's a lot of advertising and marketing on that side of things. For sure, it's a very competitive space. We work with some big personal injury firms, and they'll do anything, and gotta come up with new. Yeah, well, you got to come up with something new. You got to figure out some other way to get in front of folks, and I think it's a very time sensitive thing that if you're either in front of the person at that time or you're not. So
I think the very neat thing about adding the immigration portion is when you have a criminal case that involves an immigration issue, or there's an ICE hold and the criminal case can be resolved, you're still detained. Now your client is forced to hire another attorney, versus if your firm handles it in-house, you don't have to go hire, essentially spend 2 retainers on 2 different lawyers, 2 different firms. You can just hire within one firm and resolve all issues.
Yeah, no, I think that's a really great plan for you. And also with the family side, that same person, you can help them with other issues. Family that has issues, they'll refer you to that. So to me, that those 3 together really make a lot of sense. So I think that's naturally a good place for you to go. Not an attorney though, so I don't really know that much, but it sounds like you have awesome plans for growth. You're already doing very well. The basics and the integrity and all the things you're doing there and getting the referrals, so you have a great foundation and base. And so it seems without a doubt that you'll get to where you want to go for sure. So congratulations on the success so far. So everyone, again, check out the website, check her out, learn more. What's another way that anyone watching or tuning in right now could connect with you if they were an attorney looking for a position, or maybe just another attorney that has like, hey, I got some referrals I could send her, or maybe So is there a better way to connect with you?
No, the website is fine. There is a contact link there, and it actually comes directly to my email, so that it doesn't go to my assistant. So I will actually see it if it's an intern position that someone's interested, or an associate position. And if they indicate that it's for that, then my assistant will reach out and say, we need a resume or a cover letter or whatever is required. So the website will work. If it's something that's not firm related or legal advice related, and it's just a law student, seeking mentorship or wanting something that doesn't have to deal with the firm, I am contacted a lot via Instagram.
Okay.
That's where I'm actually most active on. My Facebook, LinkedIn, things like that are managed by someone else. So Instagram is the only social media platform that I actually communicate with people. And a lot of people. Yeah.
What is your handle on Instagram?
Jessenia, Senia .esq.
I like it.
Thank you.
Let's see if I got that right though.
I've had students reach out.
Is that
it's
right?
an I. It's an I.
Oh.
So Senia.
Senia. Senia.
Just the letter off.
You say Senia or
remove the second N.
Oh, the second N. We're live, but I'm trying. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct.
Sorry about that, everyone. So go check it out on Instagram. Actually, I'm gonna check her out in just a moment and follow her. Follow her account. If you got any questions, sounds like she'll respond. Someone looking for mentorship has questions about what she's doing. I'm sure she'll happy to help you out. So I appreciate that. That you're willing to do that. So check her out. Anything else you'd like to share before we tune off?
Nothing per se. I look forward to the growth. Thank you so much for having me, for inviting me. I've checked out your page, so it's great as well. And anyone, feel free to contact me.
All right, I appreciate it. So anyone tuning in, her episode will be available up on YouTube right now, LinkedIn, Facebook. We'll additionally have it up on our website at arraylaw.com/podcast. So it'll be featured on that page as soon as it's ready. So we'll create a custom page for her. And then it also will be on audio on any kind of podcast, wherever you listen, whether it's Google, Apple. You can get the podcast soon. And then also we'll be making a ton of awesome content featuring her, maybe some quotes she said, some things that she shared, some video clips. And you can look for that on our social media. We'll have it on Instagram stories, Facebook, LinkedIn. And then just, we'll actually share that with you. So you and your firm, or the people that handle your social media, can get that out. And it really just will highlight and feature you. So look for all that content coming out soon. She'll be featured more and more. And we look forward to putting that out there. If you need help with marketing, advertising, websites, SEO, that's what we do. And we only do it for law firms. So reach out to us. Check out raylaw.com. And just like her, I'm available. If it's just questions, mentorship, whatever, I'll help you out. Whether or not you use us and become a client, doesn't matter. But I'm available. So you can reach out to me as well. So I guess that's it. Another episode. Thanks so much for joining me. And we'll talk to you soon. Just stay on for a second. We'll be right behind the scenes. Everyone else, have a great afternoon, and we will see you on the next show.